Good morning, Chabrim. We digressed, but we're still within the framework. Because Torah, Rabbeinu said in Torah Zayin that at the time of eating, you're zoichet to He'arat Ratzon. And He'arat Ratzon is a tremendously high, lofty level of desire to Hashem. It's bidafka in the time of eating, we said yesterday. Because eating, parnasah, comes from the Sfirah Malchut. And you want to understand what this means, go back to the old classes. But the Sfirah Malchut is the place where the parnasah comes from. Now the Pasuk says that all this is Torah Zayin. We give the Ito means a time of makif in the future worlds after 120, where you will be privy to certain lofty knowledge, closest to Hashem, proximity to Hashem, which you're actually going to tap into now and feel it a little bit. He'ara. Not it itself, he'ara from it. But you need to have what's called to be an Ish Chaim. You can't be a Shlom Hazel. That's what Rabbeinu said. To tap into this, you got to have a little bit of koach. Don't be a wimp. When you're eating, gird your loins. Go to war. Control yourself. That's what we said in our Torah Zayin. I saw that the Papaot and Rabbi Natan referred to Torah Zayin over here. That because Rabbeinu said that the tzaddik that is giving you all of this kirva, which is called Menokot Haaretz, which is called Machamita, is giving you Yira. Well, actually, it's one and the same. Because the food is coming from Malchut, and Malchut is Yira. If you wouldn't be scared of the government of the king, a person would eat another person alive. So the Malchut is Yira, and eating is Malchut. And if you're eating with Yira, you're getting the energy inside that food, which is the Makif Elyon. All this we spoke before. Now, fast forward to Torah Ein Zayin 77 in Tinyana. Rabbeinu said something unbelievable. Whoever, every Jew, every day has to have tsar. Rule. You will never, ever have a day with no problems. Does not exist. However, you can spend the problems where you want.
How did we get to this Torah?
Because here, in the Imanei Murash and Malchut, so here Rabbeinu is bringing, like we spoke in Torah Zayin, that the time of eating is Malchut, and the Malchut is Yira. So in the time of eating, you should not be tapping into Yira. And then Rabbeinu went, I'm going to tell you what he said outside. He says that every day you're going to have tzar. And the more you have that, the more you're going to have tzar. However, there's a hamtaka of the tzar. There's a hamtaka. You can drink a bitter coffee, like we said, or you can put a little sugar in it. Still not. Maybe put a lot of sugar, it's sweet, but it's still a bitter drink. Even in wines. What's a good wine? A less bitter wine. What's a good whiskey? One that goes smooth. It's not necessarily a good tasting thing. It's like the experience is good, but the taste is not so good. But we want to mantik it that it's not so bad. So we want to take the tzar that you're supposed to get and put it in the right place that's going to be beneficial and not detrimental. To build you, not to break you. Because Rabbeinu says if it's nishtar shen, because it could be bitter, but it's not so bad. But if it's nishtar shen, it comes to the din kashen. Rabbeinu speaks in another place of din achzari. Everything is good, everything is from Hashem. But when the sitra cha gets it, it turns you away from Hashem, doesn't bring you close. Everything is to bring you close, even tzar. But the tzar could be so hard that it's pushing you away, and people rebel, and people get upset, and they can't have the light in the tzar. So Rabbeinu says, how does this work? So number one, you got to know. When you are eating b'kedusha or b'yira, well, since the time of eating is time of malchut, and malchut is yira, you're actually bringing the malchut into your peh, and you're creating a human mouth as opposed to an animal mouth. We can eat like a human, we can eat like an animal. Eating like an animal is not thinking about any higher purposes in the eating. It's only thinking about the pleasure and the need and the filling of the stomach. Whereas a Jew can eat b'kedusha v'yira, proper bracha, eating slowly, eating clean, eating in a way that's respectful, not talking when you eat. All of those things, and especially what we said over there in Torah Zayin, meditating on God when you're eating. If you're going to meditate on Hashem in the time where you're eating, so you're actually making yourself, you're turning yourself into a person, a human. Like Rabbeinu said over there, there are people who are walking around with bodies, but their body's an animal body. Because if there's no brains that know about Hashem, that are governing the body, so it's nothing that different than an animal. Same thing, when you're eating, your mouth, what is it? It's an animal mouth or a human mouth? So Rabbeinu said that you can have a human mouth by eating properly with the Yiran Kedusha. And then Rabbeinu said there's another level on top of that. It says if you really have a zchut, and it doesn't say how it works, but you can actually get to the level of like a Navi, Shechina Medaberet B'toch Girono, Moshe Rabbeinu, that his mouth was not a regular human mouth, it was a godly mouth. Where you see even in the Parshat Devarim, in Sefer Devarim, Moshe Rabbeinu is talking, and he's saying in the name of Hashem. Venatati asad the Ramban, he brings the Ramban. The Rabatia brings the Ramban. Venatati ese besadecha. Who's saying that? Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm going to give you. Hashem is giving you. You see that he's talking, and Hashem is talking through his mouth. You guys want you to get this. So now there's a two level. There's the peh of the Adam, and there's the peh of Shechina Medaberet B'toch Girono. Seems to me that when you really eat like the tzaddik, where you're almost eating very little and in a holy way, there's levels of everything, right? There's non-kosher food, it's too much. There's kosher food and it tastes good, but you're eating it properly and clean, and you're eating it with a bracha before and after saying Divrei Torah, you're in a good place. Now you're pushing away the foods that taste good, and you're taking the ones that not necessarily are the most enjoyable. So what did you just do? You went to the next level. Now, like it's written in the Tanya, that you push off your Suda for an hour. Instead of eating lunch at breakfast at 9, I'm eating at 10. For no reason. I'm pushing it off. Now, like the Breslovers in the Sfirat HaOmer, they eat one day of the week, nothing minachai. Only plants and vegetables and grains. No eggs, no cheese, no milk, no meat, no chicken, no fish, nothing. Nothing from anything live. It's a little harder. You're still going to get by. You're going to get by with your crackers and your hummus, whatever it is. You're going to be okay, but you're a vegan for that day. For that day, you're a vegan. What are you doing? You're purifying yourself. Now, if you fast from Chatzot until after if you wake up at 11 at night, like Chatzot is 11 at night, and you go till net 7:30 in the morning, you just did a half a day fast, 8-hour fast. Because you finish at 9 o'clock, you can eat something, a coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning. Higher levels. The tzaddik, the higher, the purer, the more pure you are when it comes to your relationship with the food, you're going to purify the mouth to either be a person or an angel. Now look what it says. Now if you do this, you're mamtik de tzar. All this will take away the problems you're going to have during that day. Look what Rabbi says at the bottom of Ein Zayin. Uma shenimtak. I'm in Torah Ein Zayin, in Tinyana. I'm near the bottom. It's a big bold word that says Uma shenimtak. Uma shenimtak katzar al yedei achila b'kedusha. The fact that we take away your problems when you're eating in pure way. We mamtik it, we sweeten it. Kida. Ki zot ha'ishtalshelut. Shnishtashen u'ba'atzar yoter gadol u'mishubar dat. The fact that there is a tzar. And the fact that the more sechel and wisdom and brains and all knowledge you have, the more you will have tzar. B'vchinat Yosif dat, Yosif machov. Shlomo HaMelech said, more knowledge, more pain. And Meir asked, what in the world? Should be more knowledge, less pain. Lichora kasheh. Exactly your question. Mipnei ma yekach. Why should it be as follows? Shemi shemosif dat Yosif tzar, chas v'shalom. The more you have wisdom, the more you have wisdom, the more you have to suffer. Achda. Ki zeh bichinat ma'abarta shel tefillin. There's something which is called the ma'abarta tefillin. The ma'abarta is where the ritzua goes through. You have the tefillin which represent mochin, brains, sechel, knowledge of God, moach. And then you have the ritzua that needs to go behind it. You know that corridor where the ritzua is going in, on the back of the tefillin, that's called the ma'abarta. Navo. Now to get, it's a ma'abarta is a derech. In order to get the mochin of the tefillin, there's a path, there's There's a road you got to take. Ki reshit chokhmah yirat Hashem. V'im en yira en chokhmah. You got to know. There are two things which are connected. One is wisdom, knowledge of God, and one is yira, fear. Reshit chokhmah yirat Hashem. Im en yira en chokhmah. If your wisdom, simple pshat there, is if your wisdom is before your fear of heaven, it's not really wisdom. Somebody who doesn't keep the mitzvot can't teach you Torah. But if you have yira, you're scared of God, now you know Torah, good. But you see that they're connected. Alken, kon mi shezoche leze chokhmah v'dat. If you're zoche to any knowledge, wisdom, chokhmah and dat, over alav yira gamken. It comes with yira. It's an inseparable package. Ki zeh talui bezeh. One is connected to the other. V'zeh bichinat ma'barta shel tefillin. This is the tefillin, is the, representing the dat. Well, there is a way to get it. The ma'barta. Ben tefillin, ki tefillin hem bichinat mochin. V'ritzua hu bichinat yira. There's a ritzua, which is called yira. The straps of tefillin, they're connected to fear of God. Ki ritzua bisha hi yira nifula. So there is, in Zohar, the Akdama of the Zohar, speaks about a bad ritzua. You know that when you give a hit to somebody, it's with a ritzua. You give a whip, take a ritzua, you give a whip. We use the ritzua, we call it for the tefillin. But a ritzua is any string, any strap that you can give a leather strap, you give a ritzua to. So you give makot with a ritzua. In the Bet HaMikdash, the makot is with a ritzua. So now, there's ritzua, bisha is yira nifula. So tsar is coming from a fallen yira. V'ken, a yira dikdusha, he gam ken b'chinat ritzua dikdusha. So the Zohar speaks that fear of heaven in the proper way is called a holy strap. וזה בחינת רצועה שעוברת בתוך המעברתא של תפילין, היינו שהרצועה היא היראה, היא עוברת בתוך המוחין והתפילין, כי רשת חוכמה יראת השם. Wisdom comes with yira. Now, if it's holy, if it's the proper way, if it's used in the way that it should be, so it translates into fear of Hashem, of Hashem, understanding the greatness of Hashem. There actually I saw Rav brings the Zohar and he's speaking about three types of yira. There is yira which is bisha, and there's yira which is a good yira. If a person's scared of doing an avera because he doesn't want to lose his money, or he wants his kids to be healthy, or if he's scared that he doesn't want to get punished, this world and in that world, so the yira by him is not the main thing. The main thing by him is not to get a punishment. He just doesn't want a punishment. So I'm not going to do an avera not to get a punishment. It's a great level. And Rabbeinu said we all need to start with that level. But that's not a good yira. That's a secondary yira. A high yira is you're fearful, you're scared of Hashem, you're in awe of Hashem because He's created everything. You're in awe of the Creator, you're in awe of the King for His greatness. Yirat haromimut. So you see that chokhmah is connected automatically with yira. You choose what yira it is. If it's in the right, proper way, that means, Alken, kol ish Yisrael, shezocheni b'chinat mochin. If it's the proper yira, so then when you're going to get this new download, when you're learning, you get a new information. And by the way, we get new knowledge every single day. The same way you grow physically, you grow mentally. The experience that you have at 40 is not what you knew at 20. And at 60, at 70, it's not what you knew at 40. You're always getting new knowledge and new information and new sechel and new chokhmah. And this chokhmah that you're getting is always going to be coming with yira. Now if, b'chinat mochin, b'chinat tefillin, over lav yira gamken. So every new knowledge you get, whether it's thoughts that you have, the things that you read, or Torah that you've learned, b'chinat haritzua shoveret b'ma'aratah shel tefillin. The way to get there, it comes. The ritzua is included. It's inside of it. It's one package. Tefillin without a ritzua is possible. You're going to put your tefillin all day without a ritzua. It's not kosher. They have to be together. You're always going to have Yira and Mochin together. This is why you have Tsar every day. Because you're always getting new knowledge, you're getting new Yira. And that Yira is Tsar. The more your brain, the more you have Sechel, the more you have Dat, the more you're learning, you're Tsar or Yoter Gadol. It's just a simple equation. Yira is connected with Chokhmah. So the more Chokhmah, the more Yira. God, you with me? Katsar nishtalshel min hayira. Now Tsar is a ishtalshelut of Yira. It's a misappropriated Yira. It's a Yira which was not used in the proper context. והירא הוא כפי המוח והדעת. ויש צער שבא מירא דקדושה. So now there's a tsar that comes from Yira Kedusha. Let me explain that. Like we said yesterday, having Yirat Shamayim is sometimes a tsar. To not do what you would like to do to the body is a pain. Do you agree with me? Here's a nice plate of food. Here's a nice image. Here's a nice chill time. Here's a nice pool. It's really geschmack. You think the rabbi doesn't think it's geschmack? It's also geschmack. But, and Yirat Shamayim, I'm not allowed. I'm not going to eat like that. I'm going to eat slow and nice. I'm not going to indulge. I'm going to diminish. I'm going to eat slowly. I'm not going to take an extra sauce. I'm not going to go in the pool. It's not a soul. It's better not. I'm not going. So that is a tzach. Whether you like it or not, it's a tzach. You are now. Why is the person interested in doing that? Because I know that the payback I'm going to get is good. I know that I'm going to gain a lot from not doing that. So it's worth it. I'm willing to no pain, no gain. I'm willing to have pain to have a gain. The pain, the tsar that you're having because of your yira is the proper way the yira should be coming about. And now you just use the yira in the proper context, and therefore what's going to happen to you? It's not going to have ishtalsherut. Because what we said before, Rabbeinu said that you're bringing the yira into the mouth, you're bringing inside of you, you're putting inside of you. If otherwise, what happens is the yira's on the side. So in the time of eating, that's what he's saying. In the time of eating, when you're putting yourself on yira, and that just translates into, like we said, sitting down, meditating, thinking, being an Hashem, thinking about God. You could cry. Eat in a private place, sit down and do an avoida. Sit down and eat holy. Eat slow. Chew every bite. Many times until it becomes liquid. Think about that God's creating you. Think about that He's giving you this food. Think about all the good things you have in your life. Realize that Hashem wa Elokim, He created the whole world. I'm going to say another place, you should be embarrassed to put food into your mouth, according to the greatness of Hashem. You're taking from Hashem's table, you're putting it in your mouth. Imagine there's a king, he has a Suda, he's having a party, and the guy, the little peasant, the rebel comes in from outside and he grabs a little something from the king's table, and you should be embarrassed. So bring upon yourself yira at the time of eating. Then the yira is the tsar, and that tsar is coming with the dat that you're getting. Because when you're eating, you're getting dat. You're getting ma. You're getting ma pa'al Hashem. Ka'et yamer Yaakov ma pa'al Hashem. You're getting that at the time of eating. So if you're getting it at the time of eating, and you're using the yira properly, Aminoav Hashem, you just save yourself from the payment of the yira, which turns into tsar if it's mishtan Shem. And it doesn't mean that things can happen afterwards that might not be bothered from somebody else, but for you it's not going to bother. Look what he says. You didn't bring the yira on you when you were eating, so it's going to go into yira nifula. Ritzua bisha. It's going to come into hardships that are not beneficial, not bring you forward. Could even turn you away. Why is Hashem doing this to me? Why is this always happening? So much tzah. I thought it was going to become religious and things are going to go easier for me, and now they're getting harder for me. You heard people speak like that? We can't pick and choose. There's an avodah of Shabbat, there's an avodah of Tefillin, there's an avodah of learning Torah, there's an avodah of shofar and lulav and etrog and matzah, there's an avodah of eating. It's the hardest avodah. It's a very hard avodah. What's harder, being a bachur or being married? In many ways, being married. A bachur can look at ladies. It's easy not to think about it. A married man has a wife. How will you be with the wife? Will you be holy or will you be not holy? Fasting, Rabbi Natan said, is easier for him Yom Kippur than Purim. Because Yom Kippur you can't eat, so automatically you're elevated. Purim you have to eat and you have to drink. Just make sure you do it the right way. You could be a minuvan b'shut Torah, the Rambam says, kiddushim to you. You could eat on Shabbat and you're not lifting yourself up. You bring yourself down. There's halachot of eating. And that's a moment we're going to see it's not the time of speaking. We're going to see back into Azayin. You shouldn't speak when you're eating because that's the moment where you're supposed to be meditating. You're supposed to be thinking. And it's very hard because society is completely the opposite of this. Society is, like I saw in RGA over here, the local grocery, it says over there in French, la vie, c'est la bouffe.
Vive la bouffe.
Huh?
Vive la bouffe.
Vive la bouffe. No, he says over there, la vie, c'est la bouffe.
Oh.
Life is food. Absolutely not. Now, in the food, like we said a few times, do you think God is wasting our time with giving us so many sudot? We're so dependent on food that if you go one day without eating, you can't function even. You can eat in the morning, you can eat in the afternoon, you can take a snack. All that is opportunities to tap into light. It's not a downtime, it's not a break. And it's true, it's easier. It's geschmack to let go at the time of eating. To take extra, to eat, to... What do you say in French? Un kiff. It's a kiff. Yeah, and it's hard not to. It's hard to hold back. It's hard not to give in. It's hard to limit. It's hard to have the proper kavanot. It's natural for the body to take its course. You're right. But just know that if you don't do it here, you're going to do it later. And it's the same day. Many times it's right after the meal. Right after the meal, you're so happy, you're so geschmack, you're so, feeling so good about that nice Suudah that you just had. You go outside and you start having problems with the business, with the police, with the taxes, with the family, with all kinds of tzarot. So just take care. You gotta get it done. It's gonna happen. I'd much rather do it over here. Because when I'm doing it over here, it is a tzar, but it's hamtaka. Is it really so painful? Let me ask you. Is it really so painful not to indulge and to have Yirat Shamayim when I'm eating? Actually not, because I'm actually gaining Yirat Shamayim. Yirat Shamayim is the biggest pleasure. It's a pleasure that's not going to stop after the meal. I'm taking with me Yirat Shamayim, which is Yirat Shamayim Tosif Yamim. The benefit of the tsar of the Yira is long term. The pleasure of the food is you finished eating, you're done. That's what I've been saying here. It's crazy. Va'afilu bar Yisrael. שאינו זוכה אזי, חס ושלום, יש לו צער מצורע בישה, חס ושלום. So a Jew will get these problems if he doesn't do it in the right way. We'll stop here. Beruchim to you.
Rabbi, en français, les mots-clés, c'est se retenir,